Good morning, YouTube. You ever have a project that doesn't go your way? Today's pin video is one of those videos that does not go my way. And this is just a little bit of foreshadowing of how this project is going to go for the rest of the video. Something so simple creates an absolute disaster and just ruins an entire project, which is a darn shame because I really loved how this blank looked when I started. And we just had another catch and it exploded on the lathe, and that's super unfortunate. But we ended up going to Woodcraft about a month ago, and I picked up this really cool rainbow looking blank. It looks really cool, has a lot of fun colors in it. It's got like this marbling effect. It's literally called the rainbow acrylic piece, and I'm thinking this is going to be one of the coolest pins that I've ever made. And just like so many other projects that I've done, you go into it with good intentions, but sometimes things just don't work out. So just like most of the pin videos that we do, actually like all of the pin videos that we do, taking it over to the bandsaw, cutting it down into the pieces that we want it, and going to go ahead and start our setup for our pin, just like every other pin that we do. So that part initially goes well. This is usually the part that I'm kind of hesitant about, which is drilling that hole, because you just want to get it as centered as best as possible. And surprisingly, the centering goes really well. We don't have any issues here. Drills right through, just like all the other acrylic pins that I've done. And I'm thinking, okay, cool. We're starting off right, dead center. So then we just start scratching everything up, and then we're going to super glue everything together and then end up putting those into the blank. And I'm thinking just give those a couple of days to dry. Shouldn't be any kind of issue whatsoever. So we end up gluing them together using the same super glue that I've used for so many other projects, and just let them dry in the workshop. And everything's going, smooth. And I'm not thinking that I'm going to have any issues. But as you obviously saw by the beginning of the video, we're going to have a little bit of issues because sometimes things just don't go your way, and that is just part of woodworking. So starting and stopping the video initially, everything gets set up, and the material's coming off just like with any other acrylic pen that I've done. And this has kind of always been my fear. I've said it in several videos. Sometimes I'm just concerned that the acrylic is just going to explode on the lathe. And this was unfortunately just one of those episodes where it just happened to do that. And I'm taking my time. We're getting material worked down. I'm not having any issues. And it's just a small little misstep with a chisel that just ends up completely ruining this. And I'm having to start and stop it a couple of times. But here it is again, just taking material off, and then obviously slow it down, and then it just explodes off the lathe. And looking at it here in a little bit, I think it was just like maybe just a super glue issue, that it just didn't glue appropriately, because the pieces ended up shattering off. But usually, when it does happen like this, the entire piece kind of explodes, but it was only half of it. So I'm thinking there's no way that I could super glue that together. So out of frustration, I'm like, okay, let's just go ahead and do the other piece that we have over here. So instead of just throwing away the whole project, what I ended up doing was just working down the other piece. I still have half the pen, so obviously we're going to have to make up for that piece that just exploded. So I'm like, well, I got nothing to lose. I'm going to try to use what I do have to make something cool out of it. So end up working this material down, which goes well. I'm still death grip on the chisels, super duper concerned that I'm going to end up having the same kind of effect. But this ends up going really smooth. I don't have any issues here. You can see that we work off the material, and then we get everything worked down to like the proper size that we want it. So this is what we had after everything was done. I have one good piece, and then I have one piece that's just completely destroyed. So I'm thinking, okay, we can either wait and see if another piece of acrylic explodes, or we can just try to substitute that piece. So what I ended up doing was essentially that, just taking another wood blank that I had laying around, cutting that in half, and just working it down on the lathe, and it's just going to be a mismatched pen in general. So obviously here, using wood versus acrylic, wood is just so much easier to work with, in my opinion. For some reason, I don't know what it is about the acrylic, it just explodes sometime, and it super duper sucks. But this part goes really smooth here. Sorry about the blurriness. You can kind of see it zoom in there a little bit. This goes real easy, not a whole lot of problems, actually no problems whatsoever, just working off the edges here, other than my bad camera work. So once we get this cut down to size, we just go ahead and sand it. And I was pretty disappointed with the pen in general, so we didn't spend a lot of time polishing it up. We just went from 120 to 180, not spending a whole lot of time doing that. And then we just come back, seal it with our super glue. There's a close-up of my hand there, and then just end up sealing that. So this part goes relatively smooth, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be the most weirdest pen ever. And then we just come back to that piece of acrylic and essentially do the same thing. Sand it, seal it with super glue, and then we're going to go ahead and try to attach everything together here. But you can see how much the super glue brings out the grain, not the grain, but the colors in this piece, which I was really hopeful for. It was really cool. It just, sometimes things just don't go your way. And here's another problem that I had. So I attempted to assemble the damn pen, and I've done this before in the past, but sometimes the assembly just gives me so many problems. So here I am on the struggle bus trying to get this all attached, forcing it in there. I got the vice grip and things are just exploding out of my hand. So I had to end up stopping it and then coming back and then trying to reassemble it again. But here we go, take two. I end up getting the tip of the pen together and then putting the transmission in, and everything goes smooth from here. But here in a little bit you'll just see just how weird this pen looks with a piece of acrylic that's colorful and a piece of wood that isn't. But here's the pen. We are all done. Super disappointed that it didn't turn out the way that I wanted to. I really had a lot of hopes for that pen, but I'm glad that we had something to show for it at the end of the day. And here it is, all done. Just looks weird, I guess. So this is the weirdest, strangest, most difficult pen that I've put together so far. But anyway, it's Thursday. Hope everybody's doing good out there. And then I'll see you guys on Sunday for our main project. And I'll see you in the next one. All right. Peace. Alright, so project is done, and this has been the most aggravating pen that I've done in a very long time, and I'm super sad that it didn't work out because that rainbow marbling was super cool, and then it exploded and I couldn't save it, so I had to use another wood blank, and that one really gave me problems, and I had trouble assembling it. But man, the project is done. But I didn't know what else to do, because that blank I picked up at Woodcraft in Dallas, and I live 5 hours away, so I wasn't about to get in a car, go to Woodcraft, get another one, and try again. But man, I'm super sad that that didn't work out. But the pen looks cool. It's, you know, aesthetically pleasing. I just give away these pens, so hopefully whoever gets it likes it. It's got the two-tone on it, so it kind of looks good a little bit. But obviously not our best work on the channel. But hey, things happen. Acrylic, sometimes if you don't center it, it just explodes. I don't know why, it just does. But anyway, kind of sad about it. Womp womp. But anyway, hope you guys liked it. Hope you got something out of it. I'll see you Sunday for the next one. All right, peace.